The silence in my house isn't peaceful. It's a verdict. I'm Frank Hollis, 81 years old, and at 78 I finally understood why my children stopped calling. For a long time I blamed everything except myself. Their schedules, their screens, the miles, the spouses. I sat in my chair and told myself, that's just how life is now. Then, one afternoon, I heard my own voice from years ago, and it hit me like cold water. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. My dad worked the plant. He loved us, I'm sure of it, but he loved us like a man in steel-toe boots. He provided. He didn't explain. If you asked how he felt, he'd say, "I'm fine," and that was the end of it. My mother's love was food on the table and a clean shirt. Nobody asked what was going on inside you. You handled it. So when I became a husband and father, I thought love meant building a stable life, paychecks, insurance, a roof that didn't leak. I became a union electrician. Good work, hard work, the kind that keeps the lights on for other people. I was proud of that. Still am. I met my wife, Mary, at a church picnic in 1964. She had a calm kind of joy, like she wasn't trying to impress anybody. She made people feel seen. That was her gift. We had 2 kids, Susan and Mike. When they were born, I promised myself they'd never worry the way I worried as a kid. And I did what I knew. I worked. I worked late. I worked weekends. Mary would say, "They miss you." And I'd say, "They'll thank me later." I said that with a straight face. Susan was 8 when she had a little piano recital at school. 30 minutes, Mary told me. I said I'd be there. That afternoon, the foreman called. Someone got hurt. They needed me. I told Mary, "This is how we eat." I drove to the job. I came home late and Susan didn't look at me much the rest of the night. I remember thinking she'd get over it. I didn't understand that kids don't forget. They just get quieter. Mike was the kid who drew everything. Cars, buildings, little worlds. Teachers said he had talent. When he was 16, he slid brochures across the table and said he wanted art school. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it scared me. I said, "Pick something real." I said, "Drawing doesn't feed you." He folded the brochures up carefully and said, "Okay." That was the whole conversation. Mary tried to pull me back from myself. She'd say, "Frank, you don't have to talk like that." I'd say, "I'm telling the truth." Back then, I thought truth was supposed to sting. When the kids moved out, they still called for a while. Sundays. Susan would tell me about her job, her friends, her apartment. Mike would talk about work. And I would do what I always did. I corrected, I warned, I coached. If Susan said she was tired, I'd say she didn't know tired. If Mike said he was stressed, I'd tell him to plan better. If they were excited, I'd knock it down so they wouldn't get too big-headed. I called it keeping them grounded. What I was really doing was keeping myself comfortable. And I did that ugly thing where you bring up the past like a receipt. After everything we did for you, I didn't think of it as guilt. I thought of it as facts. But it sounded like a bill. Love with strings. Then came the grandkids. They filled the house again on holidays, and for a moment, I felt useful. I built a swing set. I bought toys. I grilled burgers. But I still had that reflex in my mouth. Susan would walk in, and I'd comment on the baby's hat. Mike would mention a new school, and I'd call it nonsense. I said things like I was talking about the weather. Every time I watched, their shoulders tighten. One Thanksgiving, Susan asked me to hold the baby while she checked something in the oven. The baby fussed, and I said, "You pick her up too much. You're spoiling her." Susan froze, took the baby back, and said very softly, "Never mind." Later, Mary looked at me at the sink and said, "You hurt her." I said, "I told the truth." Mary said, "You don't have to win, Frank." That word stuck. Win. Somewhere along the line, I turned conversations into contests. If they were struggling, I needed to prove I'd struggled more. If they needed comfort, I gave them a lesson. And when they pulled away, I punished them with silence. If Susan didn't call, I wouldn't call either. Like I was teaching her manners. That wasn't manners. That was pride. There's a phone call I regret the most. Susan was in her 40s then. She said she was having a hard time in her marriage. She didn't ask me to fix it. She just sounded tired. I told her to stop complaining. I told her she chose that man. I told her to toughen up. She got quiet and finally said, "I shouldn't have called." And then she said she'd talk to her mother instead. After that, the calls got shorter, less personal. Mike got polite and distant, like a man keeping his hand near a door. When Mary got sick, the kids showed up for her. Appointments, groceries, fixing things around the house. They were good to their mother. I watched them talk to her with softness I didn't get. I told myself they loved her more. The truth was, she felt safe. Mary died when I was 77. After the funeral, the house went still in a new way. The kids stayed a day or two, hugged me, told me they loved me, and then they went back to their lives. And I sat there with this big, empty quiet, and the phone didn't ring the way I thought it should. I got angry. I left messages that sounded like chores. "It's Dad. Call me back." When Susan did call, I complained about bills and the neighbor's dog. If she had to go, I'd get sharp and say, "I won't keep you," like a little jab on the way out. Mike almost never called. Then my 78th birthday came and went, with a text from Susan and a card from Mike. No call. I stared at that card for a long time. It said, "Love you, Dad." And I believed it. But I also understood he didn't want to hear my voice. That hurt in a way I didn't know how to name. A few weeks later, I was in the basement looking for paint, and I found a shoebox Mary had saved. Dusty. Inside were old cassette tapes from our answering machine and a couple home videos. I still had a tape player in the closet. I don't know why I plugged it in. I just did. The first thing I heard was my own greeting from years ago. My younger voice, sharp and impatient. "Leave a message and don't call after 9. I'm up early." I actually flinched. That was me, and I sounded like somebody you'd avoid. Then came messages. Susan, young and bright. "Dad, I got the job. Call me back. I'm so excited." Then another, smaller. "Hi, just checking in." Mike. "Hey, Dad. I messed up at work today. I just need to talk." Mary, calling from out of state once. "Frank, pick up if you're there. I miss you." I sat at the kitchen table with my hand flat on the wood, and I didn't move. All those voices reaching, and my recorded greeting already pushing them away. And I could hear, plain as day, what I probably gave them when I did call back. A warning, a correction, a sigh, a reminder of how busy I was. I put in one of the home videos next. Christmas morning. Susan handed me a scarf she'd made, and I joked, "What is this, a doily?" Everybody laughed, but Susan's smile fell for a second. Mike gave me a drawing from the kids, and I said, "Hope you didn't pay for it." I laughed at my own line. Mary looked at me from behind the camera, and even through that grainy old picture, I could see it on her face. The same tired request. Stop. Let them be. That was the moment it clicked. Not one big fight. Not one dramatic betrayal. Just years of small cuts. Every call with me cost them something. Peace. Confidence. The feeling of being safe. That night I didn't sleep much. I kept thinking about what it must feel like to dial your father and already brace yourself. To hang up and feel smaller than you did before you called. To decide slowly that it's better not to call at all. In the morning I made coffee and I wrote letters. Real letters, paper and pen, because I didn't trust myself on a phone. On the phone, I could talk over them. On paper, I had to sit with what I was saying. I wrote one to Susan and one to Mike. I didn't say, "I'm sorry if." I didn't say, "but." I didn't bring up money. I didn't ask for more calls. I told Susan, "I think I made you feel judged. I think I made you feel like you had to earn my approval. I'm sorry for the way I talked to you when you needed comfort." I told Mike, "I pushed you toward what made sense to me, and I treated your dream like it was silly. I'm sorry for the way I laughed. I'm sorry I didn't listen." Then I wrote the hardest sentence of all. "You don't owe me a phone call." Because I finally understood that a relationship isn't paid for with sacrifice. It's built with how you treat somebody when they show you their heart. I mailed the letters, and I waited. 2 weeks. 3. The old part of me wanted to get mad again, to say, "See, they don't care." But I kept hearing that greeting on the tape. "Don't call after 9. Like love had business hours. On a Tuesday afternoon, Susan called. I stared at her name on the screen like it might disappear. My first impulse was to be sarcastic. I swallowed it. I said, "Hi, sweetheart." She was quiet for a second, careful. Then she said she got my letter. She said, "I don't know what to do with it." And I said, "You don't have to do anything. I just needed to say it." Then she exhaled, like she'd been holding her breath a long time. She said, "Dad, every time I called you, I felt like I was about to get graded. Like I was 12. Even when things were fine, I felt like you were waiting for me to mess up." I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to explain. But I didn't. I let her talk. She told me she stopped calling because she'd hang up and feel small. She told me she didn't want her kids hearing her get talked down to. She told me she loved me. And that was the part that broke me open. Because she said it like it was true. And it hurt at the same time. I told her, "I'm sorry." And for once, it wasn't a quick sorry to end the discomfort. I meant it. I said, "I didn't know I sounded like that." But I did. We talked for 20 minutes. Mostly, she talked. I asked about her day. I asked about the kids. When she said something hard, I didn't fix it. I didn't offer a plan. I said, "That sounds heavy." I said, "I hear you." It felt strange in my mouth, but it felt right in my chest. When she had to go, she said, "I'll call again." Not like a promise carved in stone, just a door not fully closed. That was enough. Mike didn't call right away. A month later, he mailed me a short note. He said he appreciated what I wrote. He said he needed time. He said he didn't know how to be close to me without expecting a blow. That sentence sat with me for days, because he was right to expect it. I'd trained him. We are not fixed, me and my kids. I don't think a person my age gets to say that with confidence, that everything's healed. What I can say is I finally understand what I did. I finally understand the silence wasn't them being cruel. It was them protecting themselves. If you're listening and you're a parent waiting for the phone to ring, I'm not going to tell you you're the villain. Most of us were doing what we were taught. We thought being hard was the same as being steady. We thought providing was the same as loving. But sometimes we make ourselves so difficult to be around that love has to keep its distance. And if you're the grown child, carrying your own complicated feelings, I'm not here to hand you advice. You know what you can handle. You know what you need. All I can do is tell you what I wish I had understood sooner. A phone call isn't a performance. It's a gift. A person calls you to be seen, not corrected, to be held, not measured. At 78, I realized my children stopped calling because I made them feel like they were always failing a test I never even told them they were taking. I can't go back and change the years. I can only answer differently now. These days, when the phone rings and it's one of my kids, I try to make my first words soft. I try to sound like someone worth calling. And when the house goes quiet again, I remind myself that quiet can be a wound. Or it can be space where something new might grow, slow and careful, if I stop swinging the hammer.